Okay, I think we're live. I have no idea, but welcome to our Facebook Live. We're a little early here, which is,
Oh yeah, a whole minute and a half. It's amazing.
I mean, it is amazing for our track record, to be
It is
honest.
actually. It's true. We've been like 10 or 15 minutes late multiple times. But that's
Yeah,
not our
yeah.
fault. It's because Facebook
No,
changed the interface.
it's never our fault. Nothing is our fault.
Nothing's our fault. No, no, no about that. I don't think that's a good like business motto.
Simplify,
Oh,
where nothing is our fault.
all
I
your
love it.
fault. No. No, that's definitely not how that works.
No,
I'm
there's
Farah.
no.
You go.
Okay. I'm Gino. I'm glad you could join
Uh,
us. We're going to cover a bunch of questions, which actually we just got a bunch more. So we don't have to talk about
Good.
menopause, which we were worried about.
Okay. So
So
everybody was
that's
like, definitely don't do that. So
we'll
let's
talk
have
about
some
men.
application questions. Um,
We'll be doing that in our podcast, which will be coming soon, which is true.
the
After
market is
application season,
oversaturated.
I need
After,
that
yeah,
application.
I mean,
Yeah.
October is intense for us and for our
Yeah.
clients and all the seniors
Soup.
and all the
Yeah.
parents of seniors. Everybody's sort of like, ooh,
Yeah. It's which is why we're doing this topic this month because it's
yeah,
October.
absolutely. Yeah. So we're talking about applications, like what is applying to college like?
It's
Is that what we're
scary.
talking about? It's scary. It's when it's not. You know what my best advice is right now is like apply early and often. Like it's but I did like genuinely like have a couple of like really early to apply to easy to get into schools. Get that
Right.
first application in like, in September at some point. Even if you're not in a state like say Texas where like, or South Carolina or
Yeah.
whatever,
If you're not in the
where
South.
right, where they expect these applications uber early. Just do it anyway, because then you've gotten the ball rolling. It is a low stakes application. If you realize like that you made some mistakes, like your student can fix some things, like they can, et cetera. Like now for parent paperwork, you can't change it once it's submitted. So you do want to get that right when you submit. But like your paperwork, that's the other thing that I see questions about all the time. Your student can submit before your paperwork is in. Your student can submit before their recommenders
Letters of rec.
are
Yeah.
actually uploaded. They need to have the recommenders attached. But like, it's just if they know it's coming, it's fine.
I think my biggest advice is October 2nd, right? A lot of applications are due November 1st. If your student has a choice, always do early action over regular
Yeah,
decision, unless they're doing
always.
something else that prevents that.
Yeah.
But early action is always the way to go. There's about a month left. Use that time wisely. Do not do this the day before. You never know what can happen. Do not submit things on October 31st. It can go down. Yeah. Don't leave it to the last minute. You got a few weekends still available. So just spend time on everything then. Um, my other piece of advice is really to make sure your student is doing what they need to do on their end and you're just focusing on your end. Like you can support your student, obviously, but they need to be filling out this Common App and everything. We have a really great video walking both you through your side of it, parents, and students through their side of it. And they definitely should be able to do that. We get a lot of questions in the group that I think sometimes it's just the parent writing really fast and it's nothing, but sometimes the
Not thinking
parents are
about it.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working on my Common App or I've been accepted to this school. And it's like, no,
It's like, no, no, no. Stop,
not
stop.
you.
I know that they're just using shorthand, but I do think that this language matters because you're about to send your kid off into the world. They're an adult
Right.
at this point, or they're really going to be one
Just
very
about to
soon.
be. Yeah.
And, and so this is their process. And if they don't have buy-in and you are having to do everything and pull them across the line,
That's a
that is not a
sign.
good sign for their
Yeah.
success in college.
It may be that they're just not ready yet. I mean, it could just be
Yeah.
that way, but they really need to have the independence to be able to do these things.
Yeah.
Now, there could be a student could have some disabilities and needs help filling it out or whatever, but they need to be involved in some way in the process. That is their next step and really the first major decision as an adult, what college they go to.
My son had a little bit of anxiety about each thing, though, but
Right.
after he submitted that first application, he felt a lot better.
Yeah.
So
Get the
that
first one in. It's like,
yeah, like the first one, he was like, is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? There was like a lot of like, and I had to be like, you have to push the button. It's good. Like we just looked at it. You have to push the button. And then, and then he did. And then, so then the next time there wasn't that anxiety about it, but he did need to be there with me in order to kind of do it that
Right.
first time and to kind of feel okay about it. Not every student is going to need that, but like,
No.
I do think, some parents in that situation have the tendency because it's easier and it's you're watching your kid genuinely be in some distress to be like, take the computer and like fill out those last things and do it for them. And it's like, don't like resist that urge, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, I remember one of my kids submitted that first application and didn't have a ton of schools on the list. And then all of a sudden felt really good. And then started researching
Yeah.
more schools, then adding
Yeah.
more
My
schools.
student,
And then, yeah.
yeah, my college kid also. In fact, one of the schools he added is the school that he attends and will
Yeah,
graduate
Clark.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a last minute decision almost.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that's really funny. So it's really nice for them to get that first application, and it's really nice for them to feel like they have control over it and a buy-in, and then they really start going with it. They're going to be okay. The other thing I would stress, and then we'll get to questions, is for parents. I'm working with most parents this year on parent paperwork, and so many parents are stressing about very little things,
Yeah.
and then we'll finalize paperwork and then they go back to it and stress some more. And the parent paperwork is important. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Oh,
important.
absolutely.
But the very small details, like, is this course description really a reflection of what we did? Oh, I forgot to put a book here, or something. Like, some of these little things don't matter as much and you don't need to stress about it. It's more
Yeah,
important
I
to get it
agree.
uploaded, and
On
yeah.
time. Yeah. And also just, if you're spending literally like months just sort of like anguishing over every little decision in the paperwork, like that is not a good vibe in the house. Like
No,
there's no way that
your
that's
anxiety
not.
becomes their anxiety and vice
Yes.
versa. It's this anxiety loop.
Yeah. So that's not healthy for you or your kids. Like again, yeah, it's important, but like these little things that like also like, so every year there's like a client who like uploads something and then they realize like, oh no, I found this typo or I found two typos or,
Right.
because
I
there will
listed the wrong
be,
credit, or
yeah,
so,
I accidentally like, the formatting was wrong here,
right.
there'll be things that are wrong. I mean, because typically there's, 10
There's just
pages
things wrong.
and,
Yeah.
their transcript and there's just
Hmm.
stuff. These things, like, they're not going to notice. It's sort of like how when you have company over and you're like, oh no, it's so messy. Like, and they're like, oh my gosh, your house is so beautiful. They're being genuine. Like, they don't see the things that you see.
Some people do.
Gosh,
That's not
dang.
a, that's not a dig at you. Oh my God, that was just funny. I've had way too much caffeine. I'm like,
No, you guys, Jill started this meeting by dabbing for some
oh,
reason. Like, and I was like, what is happening? She's like, what?
no. My brain was scattered this morning. And I'm like, I even had coffee, which, yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
that's okay. I'm focused now. So let's get to questions, huh?
Yeah, do it.
Because
What
now
do we got?
it appears we have got a lot. So I'm going to start with my first
Okay.
post.
Okay.
For the student FOSFA form, should my daughter mark that she is receiving a high school diploma or that she is homeschooled?
It's
Both are
homeschooled, right?
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think homeschool. This question
I
comes
believe
up a
it's
lot.
homeschooled. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think some people have done it the other way. I don't think that
I mean,
I don't
I've
think that's a
never, yeah,
huge.
I don't think it ends up mattering. It's like
Yeah, I think that's a thing that
every year it
doesn't
comes
really
up and
matter.
people say they did different things. And I'm like, I think you're supposed to choose homeschool. I don't think it matters. Yeah.
No. I just want to say I just realized the first year in like nine
You don't
years
have to
that
do the FAFSA.
I don't have to do any of it. No CSS profile, no FAFSA, nothing. First time
Start.
ever.
Oh, you're right. Us too. Us too. Because even though, so my son will continue next year, but it's a tuition free
Masters.
master's program. Oh my
Congrats to
gosh.
you, but I've been doing it for even longer, like
You really have been doing it.
9 years. As a single
Okay.
parent, I'm so happy.
Sorry. We hope everyone gets to this point.
I mean, that's assuming my son's going to graduate, but I think he will. So, yeah. Okay. I just had to throw that out there. Do schools evaluate applications if not all the recommendations are in? A couple of my girls' schools require just one recommender, but will allow for two. We don't know if they will begin the review process with one that's already there or wait until they are both ready.
Different schools are reading at different points. Like some wait for everything to be in before they're even reading anything. But if it's a school that's rolling, they may go ahead and read it. Like
especially if the one letter of rec is already there.
Yeah.
And they only require one, they absolutely might.
Yeah, but it's
hard to say.
I mean, this is going to be school by school. Everywhere does this differently. Like, I mean, if your student is curious and worried about it, like they really want, like, I mean, because most rolling admission kind of schools, but not all. See, there are two types of rolling here. There's rolling admission, which means that there's not a firm deadline. Are you rolling with the homies here?
Yeah.
I've
been dancing for a while. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
So there's rolling admission where your student doesn't have a specific deadline. You actually want to get those in earlier, not later. It looks like, oh, I can apply all the way until July, and you can, but they get fewer and fewer spots. So much easier to apply earlier. In fact, some schools with rolling admissions, you really need to apply early. And also for financial aid, there's typically more merit and more need-based aid available at the beginning of that process. But then there's another type of school where there is rolling decisions, and that's not always advertised very openly. But like some schools, they'll have like, a priority deadline or an early action deadline, and then maybe even an early action too, and then like a regular deadline. So they have deadlines, but they are evaluating applications as they come in as soon as the materials are complete, and then they just send them out. Sometimes in batches or sometimes one by one, just like when they have the decision.
So my takeaway from what you just said, that I think is really important, is that students can reach out to their admissions counselor and ask questions. Schools want to hear from students. It's a great way to like get a dialogue going. And for schools that track interest, they might track that, so just have your students reach out and start asking these questions. I think that's really important. Okay. Is there a video I can watch with my son to learn how to do the FAFSA?
We don't have one, but other people do. There was one that we used to link for parents. I don't know it offhand. I mean, there's look for it after. Yeah,
we can look for it after. I find the FAFSA, especially now, really pretty easy.
Yeah, it's way more straightforward now.
And there's some good info on the site with that.
Yeah, the website also has good stuff now.
It has really good stuff.
If you've heard nightmares about it, it's possible that it was like last year or the year before when they were doing the changeover. It's better now. It seems to be working fine now this year. So, yeah.
It's much better. It's easier to fill out. Okay. My daughter has a recommender who wants to send a letter specific to one college, but also send general ones to the other colleges. We already see there isn't an easy way to do this through the Common App. Should we have the recommender send her college-specific letter separately? Send it what, through mail?
Reason. Yeah, like what's the reasoning for this? And why is it? Yeah. I mean, it's too complicated.
No.
I mean, it is probably not swaying that one school. Like, I'm going to guess that this person is an alum or something.
That's what I would think.
Has some tie.
Or knows someone or
something.
Teaches there. Something's going on.
Something. And my guess is it is not carrying the weight that even this recommender thinks it's going to carry. And so I just would not overly complicate things.
And also, I just don't think it's easy to submit a letter.
No,
you'd have to figure that out. But also, schools also might be like, wait, why is this specific to our school? It could actually turn out not to be a good thing at all.
Yeah,
I'd be really worried about that. And I think it's just complicating the situation. Just have them write their general letter, submit it to all the schools. I would suggest too. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we only have a few more. We're getting through these fast. Now I'm at today's post. Okay. You know what? And mm, hold on a second. Can you talk about activity lists? Definitely can. Differences between Common App and the UC app, and how you suggest to decide if something should be a credit or an activity if mainly self-study. That's a good question. We get that a lot, and we talk about activities a lot. We everything should be a credit or an activity that the student's done through high school. Schools want to know how they use their time. It's really important to them.
Yeah.
Whether it's an activity or a credit depends what the activity list looks like. Is it robust? Is there a ton
And
of
what the
activities
credit
on it?
list looks
And
like.
what the credits
Yeah.
look like and where it makes the most sense. Just make sure you're not double dipping at all in any way.
I mean, I think that there's some things that are activities, like,
Right.
scouting is an activity, the sport is an activity. Like, you're just not going to give credits for those things. And then there are some things that are classes. Algebra 2 was a class. There's no way that was an activity. I think you put all those things down and you see where it stands, and see like which feels light, which needs more, and so that can be part of the decision. Where does it need to be? So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the difference between the Common App and the UC app, it's just a very different application in some ways, especially on the parents' end.
Yeah, especially I mean, it's different for the student as well. Like, so the UC app has
Essays
the
too.
PIQs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, the Common App uses a single personal statement. It's 650 words. It is open ended, loosey goosey.
Talk
It can
about
be
whatever you want.
anything. Yeah, I mean that's a bit of an exaggeration. It can be anything, but it really can't. It's very open-ended. It can be very creative, or it can be very straightforward. It can be one story. It can be a whole conglomeration of stories. There's a bunch of prompts, but one of the prompts is whatever.
Write
And
anything you want.
yeah. And I, in fact, don't usually start with the prompts with students. I usually sort of, at the end, they're like, wait, which prompt is it? And I'm like, I don't know. Which one do you think it is? So because
Pick a prompt.
Well, it's true, because admissions doesn't, for the most part, they're not checking like, did you answer the prompt? Like, it's just not working that way. The UCs with the personal insight questions, those are different. They are looking for, first of all, that you answer the prompt. They do want it to be more straightforward. I have worked with students, like, the typical advice for the UC PIQs is to make them very straightforward, like kind of no nonsense. But I have worked with some students who are just like amazing creative writers and do like have like interesting things, and they've done well with the UC. So I actually don't think that's 100% true. I do think, but they're shorter, and you do 4 of them and you pick from a list, and it just is it ends up creating a really different picture.
My kids liked the UC app better almost. They liked writing the PIQs a lot and really enjoyed it. It's the parent side that's just like, wait, where do I upload my school profile? Wait, where do I submit the course descriptions? The thing that was fairly stressful for us is the whole transcript being 100% correct and matching exactly what's in the UC app. Now, you have to put courses down in the Common App, but it doesn't seem like it's being held against you if there's a little, your student, if there's a mistake. In the UC app, especially when my oldest son was going through this, I think it was UC Irvine that over-enrolled. I can't remember. Was it Irvine? Yeah.
It was.
And they were revoking students who got admitted if the transcript didn't match what the courses were that they put down.
I mean, it was something like 150 kids or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was insane. And I was so stressed, and I was like, so you want to make sure that I mean, as a parent, you should check over the applications that your students do. Just another set of eyes. And especially with the UC app, I would have the transcript and the courses and make sure 100% that is exactly the same. That's my takeaway with that.
Yeah, I think, so this speaks to like another aspect of applications, which is that, for the Common App, and so then therefore for the vast majority of schools, your student will not enter every course they've ever done. They are asked about senior year courses, in part because some schools don't put them on the transcript, though I do suggest that you do that as well, just so that they can see the whole picture together. You have the power. Definitely. You may as well show them. But like they are asked about like what courses they're planning to take senior year. They are not asked about any other courses. Okay. However, the UC app will ask them to input their entire transcript. And then the Common App has an extra section called courses and grades. And there's like 20 schools or so that use that, and then additionally, there is another tool that they're the self-reported academic record. They just renamed themselves STARS, and I can't remember what it stands for, but it sounds more
It's like,
cutesy.
oh, it's so much fun.
It
Let's
is
go
not
do
fun.
this.
It does not work very well, and also because they changed it over this year, it's a little bit. They had a big update and
Yeah.
that's part of why they renamed it because the SRAR had. First of all, it doesn't have a ring to it, and second of all, it was a pain in the butt. So they did this big. I know, risque language. I did. They did this big update, but it has apparently also been very glitchy this year. They have to input their entire transcript, and it is the case now. None of the schools are as on it the way that the UCs seem to be, where they're really looking
Right.
for like mistakes. But other schools can, like, students, can kind of get in trouble, and it may not even be but for them as for errors essentially in inputting their
Yeah.
transcript.
Yeah.
So you do want to
Yeah.
check it with them, and they need to have their transcript with them in front of them
Yeah.
while they're doing it, just step by step for any of those
I
systems.
I'm working with a student this year, and he and I both have ADHD. So we opened up the application and the transcript, and both of us checked it one by one, like 3 times, just to make
Mm.
sure it was 100% correct. Because you just want to make sure that part of the application is correct. It's just data entry, but you can make small mistakes on data entry. Also, you want to make sure your student is working off your transcript that is finalized for being uploaded. You don't
Yes,
want to
and
working off
not
any
their
other
idea of the
no, or a
transcript. I've had
transcript
that
from a
happen
month ago
before.
that you've tweaked,
Yep.
or anything like that. You want to make sure they have the
Yes.
right transcript when they're doing that. Yeah.
And this also speaks to why it's important to get applications in a little early is that, like, I've definitely seen it where students, they send in the application through the Common App and they're like, I'm done. And it's like the last minute. And it's like, and now you need to link up your self-reported academic record.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and they're like, what is that?
What?
And it may take 48 hours to get the link to do it, and you're like, what? Because you've waited to the last minute. And so these things can come up. And so it just, or like, oh, we actually, you thought you could self-report your SAT scores. No, we need an official score report. Or, oh, we want like this extra homeschool form. Or like,
Yeah.
we've decided like we need all of your official dual enrollment transcripts or something. Your
Yeah.
student doesn't know that those are missing if they apply, 5 hours before the deadline or 10 minutes before the deadline. And because otherwise they won't
30
get that link
seconds.
to the, geez, otherwise with a VPN from a different time zone. Like, I mean, I've heard that.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, so they don't get the portal in time to see that they have things missing, and then it becomes an issue. So this is why earlier.
So another part of this question real quick is, can you talk about UC acceptance rate with homeschoolers who mainly do dual enrollment and haven't done A to G through accredited providers? Homeschoolers do really good with the UCs. My son was accepted to I like to tell this fact, accepted to every UC except for UC Santa Barbara, which is where I went. I still hold that against them, but it depends on so much. It really does. And obviously UCLA, Berkeley, UCI now, and some of these are just getting harder and harder. And it depends on the major too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do like dual enrollment. They really do like dual enrollment.
They do.
UCs.
And
yeah.
also, like, I think don't think about it as like A to G with accredited providers. They don't care.
No,
they're
they don't
not
care at all.
interested in that. And because the A to G certification has to do with your school. And so it's not available to you as a homeschooler. It's just if you're a PSA homeschooler or an out of state homeschooler, you don't have that. All A to G means is that these are the required courses to come. They do not need to be with some, so you can fulfill those with dual enrollment, with home-based courses, with outside accredited providers, with outside unaccredited providers. They can be anything. If you're a homeschooler, you're applying, without having those official things, but that's okay. That's how out of state students apply. That's how, that's how homeschoolers have
And the
always
UCs
applied.
understand that. The UCs
Yeah.
have a great track record with homeschoolers. So just
Mhm.
don't worry about it. I think one thing that a lot of parents think when they're homeschooling for the first time, or it's their oldest kid or something, it's like, oh, colleges don't know what to do with homeschoolers. We're really like the first generation who's
Yeah.
applying and stuff. There is a huge track record of homeschool students applying to colleges. And
Yeah.
and colleges know what a homeschooler is, and know what to
Yes.
look for. And homeschoolers do very well in school once they're there. So they're not looking at it the way you frame it. And that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
Just
I
take that
think. I
stress
mean, like
out.
sometimes people come to us as glad they're like, we're probably not normal, and then they, we're probably very unusual, and they start to like tell us what they're doing. We're like, no, this is totally like.
This is completely normal. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just because homeschooling sometimes you can feel like it's very isolating. So you
Yeah, but
think,
in part because a lot of the times, a lot of people are a little bit isolated in
yeah,
their communities, I
absolutely.
think. But it just in the global scope of things, they will
Yeah,
have other students similar to your student applying. Yeah, and have had for
yeah.
years. Yeah, so they know.
Okay. Is it better to apply early action with no SATs or regular and take the SATs again to hopefully increase scores? And I think this part of another question. If the school is test optional and the score is below the school's 50% range, do you still submit it to prove the homeschool transcript is legit or not include it? And then that's why they also ask, should they apply regular decision and take the SAT again? This is
First thing
interesting
I would
because,
say, yeah, I mean, if is it below the 50% mark, or is it below the range? Because below the range would
yeah,
mean below the 25% mark, in which case that is kind of low. And that's a different question.
it says the 50% range. It's below the 50%
So
range.
before the 25th percentile, hmm for
I'm
that
just telling you
school.
what it says.
Yeah.
Schools in questions have a 60% admission rate, early action. I mean, there's so much that goes into this that I think we can't fully answer, like what's the major?
No.
What's the breakdown of the scores?
What other outside sort of things do they
A
have? Do they have
transcript
amazing
can be
letters of rec?
verified.
Do they
Yeah,
have, yeah, do you have dual
AP,
enrollment?
dual
Yeah,
enrollment, letters of
yeah.
rec, all that.
Hmm.
What's their
Big
activities look
national
like? I mean, just,
contests. Yeah. Does this
yeah,
kid have like, a known kind of activity thing, like robotics wins or something? Like, I mean, these things do add to the picture of a student. And also then what percentage of like, it's 60%, okay, acceptance rate, but like what percentage of students are submitting scores, and,
the
what,
thing is,
yeah. Hmm.
the question about verifying the homeschool transcript, there's so many ways to verify a homeschool transcript, and it doesn't always just come down to testing.
Yeah.
Like we said, letters of rec that are very strong, outside coursework, all this can help.
Yeah.
The question is, I talk to people in admissions, and a lot of times I hear a test score can always help a homeschooler.
Yeah.
That's a huge takeaway. But is the test score helping your homeschooler in this situation? Like, are they interested in engineering or math or the sciences, and the math score is very low? Then I wouldn't submit it, especially if the other things are strong. Like, is the test score going to add to their application, or is it going to take away from it a little bit? And that's how I would think about it.
Yeah. And I mean, there just are so many factors. Like,
It's so hard
I mean,
deciding this.
sometimes it's very simple. This score is, well within that range, that 25
Yeah.
to 75% range, for that specific school. Submit it. Like, even if it's on the lower end, I think for a homeschooler, like
For a homeschooler, it
99% of
always
the
helps.
time, just
Yeah.
submit it. It will help. And then other times it's like this score is so low, like it's way below, like it's off the charts, then you
Especially
can't
if one
submit
of the
it.
sub scores is super low. If there's a
Yes.
huge
Mhm.
discrepancy between the two scores
Mhm.
and one is very, very low.
Yeah, then that can make them concerned. So
Yeah.
what I would say about that is so sometimes it is simple, like you just can't submit that score, or you obviously should, and that's that. But there is this like oh, we're on that cusp and, but we're homeschoolers, but we're right off the block, but the score was higher and then that score was like, I mean, it is just a lot to consider. So, yeah,
It's a lot to consider. Make a decision and just let it be. There's so much anxiety around this whole process
yeah.
that the whole score thing just adds to that, do do do. On the transcript, many note courses taught by outside providers. Our transcript is all outside providers except for 4 homebrewed courses. Would really clutter it up to have all those extra symbols.
So, first of
Should we
all,
put
you
a
could have
symbol
a
for the homebrewed
single,
classes, not do any symbols for the outside things, something else?
I mean, I would potentially just mark everything as being an outside course, period, and mark the
Yeah.
dual enrollment as being with a specific college or if there is dual enrollment.
Yeah, I don't know if there
So
is.
that it's just sort of like, asterisks, outside provider, and down at the bottom it says see course descriptions for
And then in the
details
course
about who these
descriptions,
are.
put,
And then the
yeah,
course descriptions is where it says, I mean, I just think that I've seen transcripts where it's like, 10, 12 different like little abbreviations or like little symbols. Like I just think it gets to be too much.
I think
Um,
the dual enrollment is what I'm always more concerned about than just
mhm,
like, putting down blue tent and aim and everything else. You don't, yeah,
yeah. No, I
it's
think,
not
I mean,
necessary.
yeah, I don't think you need to have those. They don't know what they are. And so if you
No,
want to
they don't know what they
notate that
are.
these were with an outside teacher, I think that can be, that's
Yeah.
just a single little, but like beyond that, I don't think you need to, because they don't know what they are, you know?
Which is another thing that I would say is that you want your paperwork to definitely reflect your student and paint a picture of your homeschool and highlight certain things that you are thinking is important. But you don't want it super, super cluttered and hard to get through and just so much that they're only going to read 5, the few things and that's it. You want to control that narrative as much as you can. And you want to make it
Yeah.
easy on them. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Um, how can out of state homeschool students with a homeschool high school diploma address the homeschool requirements for colleges and universities in New York? My state doesn't provide a diploma to homeschool students. Do we make sure we have to take a lot of dual enrollment classes?
So, first of all, for
Good on it.
99.9% of students, I would just say don't go to college in New York, like for a New York
Well,
State school.
public. Yeah.
Yeah, just don't go to a SUNY. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just very like, what are those schools giving you that you can't get at another
Somewhere
school?
else.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it just same thing like UMass Amherst has become this way too. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Don't
there's
even do it.
yeah, like, okay, so that's not an option, but UMD is, Penn State is, like, I
There's
mean,
so
it
many
just,
schools in America. I mean, that's one of the
right, like,
so
I
many
don't
to
know
choose
what,
from.
yeah, it
And
just like
almost
these,
all of them are homeschool friendly.
yes,
That's the
exactly.
takeaway.
So, yeah, so like that's the first thing I would say. However, there are some SUNY schools that are particularly specialized, like, like the environmental one or
Environmental one.
like
Yeah.
FIT or something like, or maybe like that's where your whole family is from and you're trying to get back there or something, and your kid really thinks New Paltz is the place to be. I have no idea. Like, so if there is a specialized reason, then you have to plan ahead. Yeah, dual enrollment would be one way. Planning to take the GED after graduation would be another way, like just to keep your options open. Like, pain in the butt to do. You can use like a Clonlara or something like that, or NARS.
If it's really worth it,
Or
if that's
or
just
if you're
like,
in, yeah, you can use one of these umbrella schools. I mean, that are in some of these states. I mean, all of these things add onerousness to your life essentially and take away your control in homeschooling, and they're not adding educational value. They're
no.
just for the purpose of this SUNY school. And so you have to
And
think
they
to
don't
yourself,
always look,
why are we doing it?
yeah,
Like,
and it
is
doesn't
this
always look
really
better
worth
for
it?
other schools. So if you like
No,
go
no,
with
no. Like,
Clinlara and then
yeah.
yeah,
And then it controlled what you did and you weren't able to
yeah.
do other things. Like,
And then you're
it's
not
not it's
shining.
not that
Yeah.
Clonlara will look bad. Clonlara looks fine. Like, it's not hurting
No,
your
but it's
kid,
not, you're not
but
in a
it
homeschool
might be
lane.
taking, yeah, it might be taking away. your kids time to do other things because they're focused on fulfilling like these certain things, and they could have done it in a simpler way, just as educational, and then they, have time to go do something else. They have the freedom, you know.
Homeschoolers have a ton of freedom. I mean, I think homeschooling is a huge benefit in some ways to applying to college. It really is. And there's a lot of freedom available there. And when you just lean into that freedom,
Mhm.
your kid can look quite unique when it's time to apply to colleges. So if there's other schools that work just as well as SUNY's or something, look at those, I would say.
If you're in New York, then the letter of
That's
completion, like
different.
there's a bunch more options,
Yeah.
or if your
Yeah.
student is doing a ton of dual enrollment anyway, then, then that opens those up. I mean, if that's just like one of your default options anyway, then that
We
makes
had a
it
kid
possibility.
accepted to the environmental school who had a few dual enrollments. It wasn't that crazy. But
No. They couldn't
they
have
didn't end up
enrolled.
enrolled. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem with UMass Amherst too. And I've been telling families this year, for some reason, a lot of families really want to apply to that school. They want their kids to. And it's like, okay, they may get accepted. They absolutely might get accepted.
Both my kids were accepted. But as far as I understand, they will not let them enroll. Yeah.
No. Okay. Let's see. You know what I hate? When these disappear. When does the student contact the college about transferring in AP dual enrollment credits? Can they let us know before the student makes their final decision? Or is it after they enroll? That's a good question.
Yeah. So, okay. So the first thing I would say about this is don't get so hung up on the idea that everything that your kid did in high school has to count in college, that you're eliminating great schools. Okay. You are not necessarily saving money by bringing in like your English 101 credit, or whatever. It is just not necessarily doing what you think it's doing. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing, not before, like after they get their acceptance, but before they've made their decisions is a good time to inquire about that. But some schools may not be able to answer 100%. So,
Sorry,
they do
I'm
have
reading
charts. Yeah, they have
reading a
charts of
question.
like what exactly. Usually for AP, it's way more straightforward than for dual enrollment, unless you're looking at like a public school in state.
Yeah. The APs, it's usually very easy to find that information on the college
You
site.
can just look that up. And then again,
absolutely.
And also like if you're doing dual enrollment at a community college and that has an articulation agreement with your state flagship or whatever, then you can just tell. That camera is jumping all over the place for you.
I think I was going to say something.
Well, I can tell something was happening, and also you're frozen. Oh, I think it was me. I froze.
Yeah,
oh
you're
my
frozen.
Gosh. What the heck?
Okay, well, I'll read the next question while you figure that out.
Okay.
Let's see. Course titles. I'm losing. How do you title courses in transcripts? Is it better to have generic course names or something unique that describes the course? Same question for all core subjects. I mean, I think you want it to be clear what the course was, especially like with science. They're looking for like chemistry or whatever. Mm-hmm. But unique names over English 9 or something, I think, are always fun and add value.
Mm-hmm. You can use a colon. Yeah. So the other day, someone
English
in our group
9.
asked about.
Yeah.
The other day, someone had one, and it was like it was geometry, but like the name of it was like shapes, lines, and logic or something. And she was like, "Should I retitle these?" And everyone was like, "Wait, what? That's geometry?" So I think there's a line somewhere. But then the flip side is sometimes I see a homeschool transcript and it just looks so basic, and then we dig into the course descriptions and we're like, oh, that was all like feminist literature. And oh, you did this whole, like, it wasn't just US history. It was like, it was history of World War I and II, like, and, the home front or something. Like it's interesting. And that I do think adds some value when you I think
it absolutely does. And that's kind of what I've been talking about is like, being a homeschooler and leaning into it.
Yeah.
As long as it's clear what certain classes were,
Yeah. You don't want it unclear that you check the box, but also like you can use a subject transcript or a distribution, like a credit distribution
Yeah.
table.
Yeah. How's your camera? Good.
I mean, as far as I know, can you not see me?
Well, I keep going to our group because I keep getting more and more questions.
Oh, okay. My
So,
camera was fine. It was the my internet glitched. That was all.
okay. 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 I think we covered all those. Now we have questions under the actual video. Okay.
Oh, those definitely disappear, you guys. Why do they do that? Facebook's so
I don't
evil.
know. I've done FOSFA, but how do you know if you have to do the CSS profile? CSS profile is, first of all, I'm also done with that now. I just want to like shout out to that because that is,
I
I
know.
hate the CSS profile so much.
Evil.
Um, yeah, right. You didn't fill it out though. I think Peter did.
My husband did it. I outsourced that labor.
Yeah, that's a smart. I didn't have anyone to outsource to, but I would have. So if you have the option, everyone watching this, to outsource that piece, uh,
Yes.
do that. Absolutely do that.
Mhm.
You can look up the school and see if it
Yeah,
needs a
you just look
CSS
it up and
profile.
see if they
Yeah,
require it. Yeah.
yeah.
That's so funny. Now I'm imagining like a married couple and they're both watching it like, yes, I'll outsource to them. No, I'm outsourcing to them.
Whoever's doing the paperwork, the parent paperwork, should not have to do the CSS profile.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, there we
I'm
go.
making a call. I'm making a call. I'm not even married or anything, but that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how we did it. I mean,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know.
There you go. I think it's fair.
Yeah,
I'm in North Carolina. We had my son. I'm not. I'm in Canada, but I'm just reading the question.
I know.
Um, we had my son change from our local base high school in 10th grade to a full time online school. The state still requires me to have opened a homeschool. He is currently in 11th grade. Do I make my own transcript, including the two schools, or do I just submit the two schools transcript? Follow up to that is that with the current online school, due to sports, we decided to reclass him 1 year. The online school basically truncated what will be 5 years of high school and says they will just send the 4 years with the school. Not sure what I'm supposed to do with the 1 year he did prior, all the state requiring that I'm a homeschool. All with the state
So
requiring that I am a homeschool. Any
the
thoughts? Sorry, that
the
was long.
key, yeah, the key question here is who's the counselor of record. And when
Absolutely.
you're in a full online school, often they are the counselor of record and they are the ones who should be sending in the paperwork, not you. And send a school profile and do the whole shebang. So you need to talk to that school and see what
And
their
be very
approach
clear.
is. Yeah, who will
Yeah.
send his transcript? Who will fill out the Common App counselor side for this student? And ask because some of these online schools do it, and it's others do not. And you need to figure out what they're doing. I mean, to me, they're not a school if they're not doing that. They're not really a school. They're just like a
Not
provider.
enough. Yeah, they're a provider. I
And
wouldn't be so
so
worried about the 5 years to 4 years. Like I
no,
wouldn't
no.
worry about that.
And
That's easy.
if it ends up being you, that's pretty simple. You sent theirs and the other one and explain it in the profile, like exactly what the progression was. If they are the counselor of record, this is something for your student to include in additional information. So anytime there's something like this where you're like, oh, this is deeply confusing, we changed schools, this was weird, things like that. If your student is enrolled in a school and you don't have the control over the paperwork to explain it, they can put it in additional information.
Um, I would also say that I would reach out through email and get their response via email so you have a record of it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, in case anything happens when it's time to actually apply to schools. I think that's all the questions. Do you want to check? Because sometimes they disappear.
I mean, I can never, they all just disappear. Let me try. I'll try.
You
I don't
try.
know.
This is
Um,
like, yeah.
yeah, it's always confusing. Do you have any final thoughts while I check?
I do have final thoughts, but it's just something I keep saying over and over again. It seems like a very stressful time, and it's hard on parents because you're the homeschool counselor, and it's hard on the kids because they're stressed out about a lot of this. Just don't overcomplicate the situation. Don't spend hours and hours and hours and hours reading your paperwork once other people have read it and you know it's finalized. Don't upload it and then go back to it and be like, oh my gosh, I found a mistake. What do I do? Just let it all be. It's going to be okay. Take deep breaths, get through it, have your student get through their side, and then enjoy the rest of senior year. This is maybe the last time they're home.
Yeah.
And you just want to enjoy them. I mean, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they're such great kids. It's such a fun time.
No, it's true. That's like when they start getting good again and they're not
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
difficult. Like
And then
just,
they leave, and you're like, why do you leave me?
yeah. I think that's really good advice. I think, structure stuff for your student, but don't take over from them. I think like,
Yeah. It's
make
not,
time to
yeah.
sit with them and check the Common App with them or whatever it is, like the UC, whatever it is that they're applying. Make time to like, make sure that they're doing their part to be like, help them make a checklist, help them add it to their to do, sit with them when it's tricky, but don't take it over from them and do it for them because they have to do it themselves. And I know they're really busy. Some of them are crazy busy,
Yeah.
but they've got to figure it out in college. And so you don't want to take over from them now. Like definitely give them the autonomy. And then in the spring, when they are making their decisions, that is when they really need your support to make their own decisions.
Yeah. Besides the financial piece, which absolutely parents
Oh
can have a
yeah.
say on. Yeah.
No, you get to veto those school. I mean, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Like,
You
and
can't
you don't
afford it. And there's
always.
just nothing to do.
Yeah, and if honestly, if you know that you're not going to, if you know 100% because you did the net price calculator and you spoke to the school, whatever, you know that you can't afford that. You personally, not generally, not from the sticker price, but you personally, then just don't apply. Like, don't let your kid apply because that
Yeah.
is a
It's
waste
just going to be
of
heartbreak.
money because they
Yeah.
have to pay for the application and it will just be a
It's going to
heartbreak
lead
for
to
them.
heartbreak.
Yep.
My other takeaway is if this is your only kid or your last one, start thinking about your life after. I think there's an adjustment for homeschool parents going from homeschooling and being so involved in the student in a way that regular
Yes.
school students sometimes aren't parents
Mm,
to just being on your own. It can be really fun, which I think it is. But
fun.
so much fun. Farrah and I are having a blast. But
I'm not in Canada.
oh, so pretty. I'm
I
sorry. I'll take you here.
know.
I'll take you
I
here.
was there. I was there over the summer. I'd go
That's
again.
why I
It was
came.
lovely.
You told me I had to go.
Oh, did I? I also told you had to go to Greece and you didn't go.
Well, I'm going to go to Greece soon.
Okay.
That's a planned trip. But first, we're going to Costa Rica in February for our
Oh yeah,
business.
right now that's our plan.
Is it February?
Think so. I don't know. I have to check.
Oh my gosh, I need the dates. Okay, so anyway, plan your life. Start thinking about yourself. Enjoy your kid. Do some fun things together. Celebrate when the decisions start coming in. Celebrate every decision. So they're not just waiting for their lottery school. Every school is every yes is good.
Yeah. Yeah, every yes is good. Like really do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Like,
my
I'm
kid
so proud of you. This is
I let him pick
amazing.
family takeout each time and I that was a mistake by like the middle. I was like, you applied to 10 schools. That was not the right. Like I should have just been like, go get some ice cream or something.
Yeah. Here's a soda.
I know, right? I was like, oh, that was not the way I should have done that.
That
But
was
whatever.
not smart. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll be back next month. The recording will be up on YouTube in a day or two.
Yes,
Which is another
exactly.
thing. Go
Okay.
to YouTube and watch our videos. That'll be helpful.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Somewhere I can hit the stop streaming. I don't even know. Goodbye. Farewell.
Bye.